Hello everybody. Today we're going to make a vegan, basically sulfite free and dairy free cheese sauce. A lot of people who have allergies can't have cheese, so which is a situation at our house. So we have found the cheese sauce recipe a couple years ago and have been kind of playing with it a little bit. So anyway, today we're going to make it. Start off with roughly about a half a cup of flour. You're gonna kind of make a roux, okay? That's what it kind of boils down to. You got nutritional yeast. You can try different brands, however one you want. We prefer the Bragg's. This stuff, there's no issues with sulfites, and well, to us it's really cheesy. Well, it does a good job on cheesy. I do about a cup and a half to 2 cups of Bragg's. So nutritional yeast, right? All right, salt. About a tablespoon of salt. Black pepper. About a teaspoon of black pepper, not too much. You don't want it, maybe about half a teaspoon actually, because that stuff will kick on you. Onion powder, a good tablespoon and a half. Onion garlic powder, same thing, about a tablespoon and a half. White pepper. You don't really want to put a whole lot in this. This kind of gives it a little bit of a kick, so kind of like a pinch or so. And then it's kind of the same thing with the mustard powder. You want to put in, say about half a teaspoon at the most. All right. Now that that's in, we used Planet oat milk. There's different ones of this. You can get the thicker version, which is not, for this kind of situation, you don't really need it, but it's pretty good. If you use almond milk or some of the other ones, I don't know what difference it'll do. Another same person in our house has a nut allergy, so we can't really use any of that. So oat milk it is. I pour in a decent amount here because you kind of want to get it mixed up real good and have it into a, kind of just let it get all incorporated basically. Just want to make sure you got all the flour mixed in so you don't have no flour balls. You put too much liquid in, it ain't gonna matter because you're gonna let it sit for a little bit anyway, and it'll soak it up. All right, that's pretty much it for that part of this. We'll be back in a little bit. Hello everybody, welcome back. All right, we're at the second half of this, making a cheese sauce. So at this point, I've put a half a stick of butter into the pot here, and as you can see, it's got it nice and boiling now. I put it on about 4 on our oven, or stove, sorry. And, kind of seems to work for the whole recipe here. All right, here's cheese sauce. It's sat for about 10 minutes. If you let it sit for 15, 20 minutes, it ain't gonna hurt it. All right, I'm gonna dump it on in here. Trying to get it all as much as you can. All right, now here's the fun part. You get to whisk, and whisk, and whisk. First, you're trying to incorporate the butter into it. And then what'll happen is after a little while, you wanna get it pretty decently thick. And then you're gonna add about a half a cup of milk into it. If you add more, don't freak out, it's not a big deal. when we make mac and cheese, which we'll be making a video of that soon, we add a lot more stuff to it. A lot more of the natural nutritional yeast, spices, and then we make a cheese sauce, and then we add a bunch of water to it, and then we'll put noodles in it and let it all come together that way. Turns out really good. Now, once you get it all incorporated, you're just kind of doing a light stir, you know. It's trying to stay awake while you're doing it, because it gets very boring. You want to make sure you're moving it all around, because you don't want it to bubble. You don't want it to start boiling, because that'll break it down for this situation, which is like, you want to make it thick. That's just basically kind of how a roux is. As long as you're moving it around, you're good. You'll start to see it, it'll start to thicken up. As you can see, it's starting to get thick on the whisk here. We have our helper, Charlie, here hanging out with us. Quality control. Who wants an ice cube? Loves ice cubes. As you can see here, it's starting to thicken up. I don't know if you can see inside the, start to see how it's thickening up. It's almost getting there. Sorry about that interruption. Must be a squirrel or a leaf flew by. All right, you can see how you're looking in here now. It's starting to get really thick here. And you start to see the bottom of the pan as you're whisking. That's about what you're wanting to see. See how on the back side there? See how in the center now it's starting to do that. And all you gotta do now at this point is incorporate this and get it start thickening back up again. Try not to make a mess while you're doing it. And then at that point, you are done. Now, I mean, technically you could stop shortly after this. You want to let the milk kind of cook into it. It's very, very exciting. This is the most exciting thing to cook. As exciting as this is, when you do a bunch of stuff where you're gonna have a lot of cheese usage, like you're making tacos and mac and cheese on a day, and you're sitting here doing this for an hour and a half. Very, very exciting. And you figure, look at the time, it's 8:13 at night. And this is just the end of the day right here for us. Yesterday was corn day. Since sweet corn is in season, we have to get corn because someone can't eat corn out of the can and freeze it for the whole year. So we bought 10 dozen of ears of corn yesterday. Shucked them, boiled them, shaved them off the ear, and then bagged them in freeze-lights or vacuum seal bags down in our little freezer. Very exciting day. But we got some good corn, so. You know, in sweet corn, you can eat sweet corn when it's not have any salt or butter on it, and it's good. That's some good corn. All right, you see how this is starting to thicken up here? It's not super thick, but it's thickening on it. For the most part, you're done. Once you put this in your dish and let it cool down, it'll thicken up. So, I'll stop you on that boring part of it. Thank you for seeing us, watching us. What was that? That my assistant in the background mouthing things to me, and I can't tell what it is. You know, since she doesn't want to tell me. What? Oh, wait, fine. Goodbye.